Hello Australia, welcome to episode 767 of The Couch. We have got a big show coming up. Let me tell you what's coming up. Nisha Seth has got another roadmap to health. She's talking to a naturopath today called Caroline Wallace. Stick around for that one. You might learn something different. Talking movies, Cameron Lynch is back on set helping us out with movies today. Talking travel with Steve Collins. He's back from his tours around the north of Western Australia and South Australia. We talked to him today about Uluru and Alice Springs. Stick around for that. Talking communications on foreign lands by Dr. Paula Smith. She'll be talking to Nisha. And then Bitchin is back as well with Michaela, Steve and Sharon. Music-wise, we've got those brothers coming in. They're called Fox India. They perform their brand new stuff for us. So stick around. Big Couch coming up. 767 starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can watch it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. You can see it from your house. Oh, it's showtime on the couch.
Hello Australia, anywhere you're watching us from. In fact, whether it's Adelaide, Melbourne, or Perth here in Perth, or even in Sydney or Melbourne on Foxtel, and of course Queensland. Yes, thank you very much, Sonia, on Wide Bay TV in Queensland. Welcome to The Couch. Thank you for watching. Hope you can stick around for the next hour. Let's get straight into the show today. Nisha Seth is back. She's got a fantastic roadmap to health. She's talking to a naturopath today. Her name is Caroline Wallace. Over to you, Nisha.
Thank you so much, Fred. Great to be back with another Roadmap to Health segment. Great opportunity to increase our awareness around holistic health. And I have with me today Caroline Wallace, who is a clinical naturopath. Welcome to The Couch.
Thank you very much, Nisha.
You're nice and blending in the green, so I think you got the memo, yeah?
I know, I didn't realise.
Now, in preparation for this segment, you really encapsulate the roadmap to health. Tell us about the role of a clinical naturopath and what you actually do.
So, a naturopath, we help people obviously with their health, almost like a GP, where you go and see someone for any sort of condition, and then we can help them look at their health holistically and to bring them back to their well-being using different tools, so using herbs, nutritionals, also diet, lifestyle, all those kind of things as well.
Fantastic. And like most health practices, there's a number of specialisations, aren't there? Talk us through some of those.
Yep. So we see all kinds of conditions, see everything from autoimmune conditions through to gut health, children, hormones. We treat everything, but everyone has something they really are passionate about. I love women's hormones and working through, helping women throughout the life cycle. There's other people that work with neurodegenerative diseases, others that are more gut focused. So, lots of different areas that we can support with.
Yeah, and from what I've heard in the area, your approach is very holistic. So tell us about what a typical sort of first consult might look like. Some of our audience members might be thinking about coming to see a naturopath, and this will help them obviously get there.
Yes, so the first consult is always a fact-finding mission. So we really delve down into someone's their health history. So we're looking for what's that I've never felt well since moment, or is there something else in their family history that could have triggered off where they are today. So going through all their history, looking at any other tests, if they've seen other practitioners or if they've seen other specialists, where they've been in that journey as well. So putting all of the information together and then looking at where do we go next? Is there other testing that needs to be done, like pathology, so blood tests, or looking at other functional testing,
absolutely,
like urine testing or hair mineral analysis. So putting all of those things together and then obviously helping with symptoms at the time, but looking at them holistically and finding out the root cause of what's causing their issues.
Yeah, that sliding doors moment, where a trigger, when did I feel well last, that moment, how important is that? Do you find with clients that is often, they don't even know when that moment was?
They can do. Some of them are very, very definite. And they say 2017, never been well since I came. I got gastro when I was travelling in Thailand. Right. Or others they can't pinpoint it. So that's part of our job, is to really help dig back. And they may find they were living in a mouldy house, for example. And they say, oh yeah, really that's when the cough first started. And then it goes on from there. And it may be years earlier. So then we're looking at something different to what they may have been originally presenting with. But you start, it's peeling back the layers and helping them bring them back to health, but helping people maintain their health themselves as well is really important.
So that accuracy is so important because it's a baseline effectively for you to have a targeted plan. You work at Remedy, we consult out of the Remedy offices. Yes. Tell us about their holistic health kind of focuses.
So at Remedy, we're very lucky. We've got integrative GPs, we also have counsellors, we've got acupuncturists, massage therapists and nutritionists and other naturopaths as well. So we all work together. And so we have a great base of knowledge within the practice as well. And you can bounce things off other people. So if I do need support, if someone comes in to see me and they have something that is beyond what my scope of practice, we've got the ability to refer on to our fabulous GPs, and having that network is so important, and working alongside Western medicine as well as the other things that we do, you get the best results. And that's the whole aim, is to get the best results for our clients and have them well long term.
Wonderful. And I was going to ask you why it's so important to have an integrated roadmap, but you have answered that question already. So well done. You're really in tune. Anything extra that you'd like to let the audience know about naturopathy and why it's so beneficial?
I think obviously we do look at the whole person, but we also aim to empower and to educate. One of the things I love doing is educating my clients on, first of all, why we're doing the tests, and when they come back in, helping them to understand what they're looking at. So one of the things I say is know your numbers. So know what your blood pressure is, know what your blood sugar is, know where your cholesterol is sitting. And looking at something over time gives you a far better idea of how you're managing your own health. So if something starts to go wrong, you can address it before you hit pathology. And that's one of our main things, is preventative health as well. Our health system at the moment is very focused on managing symptoms, whereas we like to get people before they even get there, so that they can stay really well and healthy. Yeah,
look, completely agree with you. I think a lot of patients would really value your insight, and you can all get the sense, I think, of how calm and relaxed Caroline is on the couch. So Caroline, where do we find out more information?
So I have a website, which is carolinewallace.com.au, or the Remedy website, which is remedy.com.au.
Wonderful. It's always a pleasure to have you. And this is your first visit, but we will have you again. If you missed any of that, of course, you can go to the Couch's website. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you to Caroline as well for coming in. I'm sure we'll have her back again as well. I've been to a naturopath, and I tell you what, I was very sceptical because you're so used to the GPs giving you advice and medication. I find that it's sometimes worth going, even once. You might actually learn something new about yourself and your health. You might be able to manage it a different way. All right, now talking about managing something a different way, how about some music on the couch? The brothers are back, called Fox India. They've got a beautiful song, Centre Stage. Here they are performing Corridor.
Lucky you've got a pretty name, 'cause now the only thing I can talk and walk and write about is you. Yeah, I've seen some red flags in my life, you caught me off guard. I'm just mad I convinced myself that you were the one. Alright, let's get this started. I've done this a couple times now. I'll just wait until this crushing feeling goes away. Can I just say it's not like me to talk to you? Endurance and respiration is what makes us human. left, I cried. I did it all 1,000 times. I danced without you, all alone in my room. I wrote it down, hoping you would find it. It was a fairy tale, but I guess sometimes that ship could sail. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. It was a fairy tale, but I guess sometimes that ship could sail. Welcome to the top, he said. Welcome to a world without you, is what I read. Can I just say it's not my job to talk to you? Pity your soul is not your fault. I laughed, I cried, I did it all 1,000 times. I danced without you, all alone in my room. I wrote it down, hoping you would find it. It was a fairy tale, but I guess sometimes that ship could sail. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. One boy, one girl, a corridor with no words. It was a fairy tale, but I guess sometimes that ship could sail. And I, ooh, oh, and I, ooh, oh, 'cause the embarrassment that I took from you is all worth it now. I'm fortunate, I'm a hot friend. Baby, you don't need to know my name. 2, 3, whoa.
Thank you very much to the brothers Fox India, and we'll have a chat to them later on at the end of the show. And plus, they've got another song they're performing for us as well. Welcome this man back on Couch. He's been away a while, but he's back from a little bit of his touring with his wife, who's just retired.
Yes.
Steve Collins, Talking Travel, welcome back.
Yes, I needed to get away, but I forgot that I was taking her with me. There you go.
Oh, look, that's always the way. And tell me something. You've been up to the Northern Territory.
We went up through the Pilbara, the Kimberley, then the Northern Territory, and then down through South Australia and back across the Nullarbor.
And what are we... Well, I guess
we're going to talk about Uluru and Katajuta, which is known as alternative names Ayers Rock and the Olgods, but that's the official name.
It's a beautiful part of Australia.
They are right in the centre of Australia. Just amazing. Of course, everybody knows Uluru or Ayers Rock. It's also known. It's one of the most famous rocks in the world, but it is an outstanding location because it just rises out of the desert. It's 384 metres high now, which is over 1,000 feet, and so it just dominates everything.
You can't climb it anymore, can you?
You can't climb it. You can't walk on it. You can walk around it. Yeah. I did a bit of. I didn't walk around the whole thing, but I did a fair walk around it. It's just the most magnificent place, and it changes colours. Here I've got the best time to see it is at sunrise and sunset because it just extraordinary. This is a bit of a time lapse.
This is all your vision, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, this is all my
Real
vision,
folks.
Yeah, but it's fabulous because the Uluru Katajuta National Park, which is bigger than Switzerland. It's huge. Massive. It's mighty. This is 15 minutes from Ulara. Ulara is set up so that that's where all the hotels are and the campsites and all that. It's well away from Uluru, but it's just the most exciting place. You can see it. We drove there. Most people go in by plane, but we drove there because...
How many hours from Ayers Rock to Uluru? Is it about 4?
Well, you're from Alice Springs
From
to
Alice
Uluru,
Springs,
yeah.
sorry.
It's a bit over 4 hours. It's 440 k's, but up there, of course, you can drive at 130 k's an hour.
Yeah, correct.
So
Open
it's
road.
it's a bit hard to say how long, and it also depends on how many caravans and road trains you encounter.
When I went there, one of the most beautiful things to do, and I didn't know until I got there, is when you get to Ayers Rock, you go there about sunset, and it's the most beautiful. There's cars everywhere.
Yeah, well,
caravans and
they've
all.
got two. They've got two places where you go. There's the one where the Sunrise car park and the Sunset car park, and the reason for that is they're on different sides of Uluru.
Beautiful photos.
But it is just extraordinary to get there and to see the colour. I actually preferred the sunrise because the sunrise, it's just a bit more spectacular because it's black and then all of a sudden the light shines on it. But you can see
Just
this
beautiful.
here, it just shows you that it's different. You think it's a flat rock, it's not. There's crevices in there, there's gorges, there's all these holes. Look at that great big slab there that's still there. It's just an amazing place, and it is much bigger when you get up close to it. So when you say stand at one of the places, where you can see that where you're looking at the sunrise, because you're right there, you can walk right around it. There's Aboriginal cave paintings there and everything. It's extraordinary, and it makes you really proud to be Australian when you are there,
It's a
because
beautiful
it is
landmark.
sensational. And when you get up close to it, you can see that it is basically such an extraordinary place. There's caves in there. It's
And you can
it's
do
very
tours,
sacred
can't you,
place
Steve?
to
You
the
can
local
do-
Aborigines.
You can do tours with guides all the way around.
You can do a free walk every morning. There's at 8 a.m.
Wow.
There's a free walk, and they talk about not only the rock, but what the local Aboriginal believe about the rock and why it's sacred, etc.
Beautiful.
And you learn so much about it. But this was 500 million years ago. This was the bottom of a massive sea, and that's how it was created. It was created by sand gradually falling to the bottom and compacting.
Wonderful.
And Uluru and Katajuka are actually connected underground by this great big slab of rock. But Katajuka is 40 kilometres away.
Oh, okay.
And
Now, I didn't go there when I
no,
went.
well,
Tell me
that's
about
36 domes it's got there. And the amazing thing is about it, the highest dome is 200 metres higher than Uluru. Now, you can't walk on Uluru, but when you get to Katajuka, there's two different walks you can do, which takes you right through it. Now, you see those massive domes there. That was taken from some distance away, but when you get in there, there's this great walk and you go between these monoliths, and it's absolutely extraordinary that the colour of the rock, you see that there's water there, there's a little creek going through it. And when you go in, it's a really hot day when I did it, but as you go deeper into that canyon there, it gets really cool, and there's an oasis at the end of that walk. It's about probably 1.5 k's, I guess, to walk up there. And it's just extraordinary to be there.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Not only is it massive, but it's also magical to be there. It's just one of the places you should go to in Australia. See, this is up near the end of it, but you see there's a whole lot of life there. There's a lot of animals there as well. Most extraordinary
Steve,
place.
for people who are thinking of going to Ayers Rock, Alice Springs, to see
Katajuka,
Katajuka, where can they stay? Is there plenty of accommodation?
Well, yeah, there is. There's a place called Ulara, which is 15 kilometres from Uluru, and that's 104 square kilometres, so it's pretty big. There are a number of different. Like you can camp there. We stayed in a 5-star resort, which was very
beautiful,
good.
Isn't it?
But there's 2 and 3 standard. There's also a big glamping accommodation as well. But they've got a shopping centre there and shops.
Something for all budgets.
A bar. They've got everything is there.
Yep.
And it's a really good community as well. And because the workers live in that community as well. It's just great. So there's plenty to do there, even when you're not out at the rock. And a lot of people sort of go there in the morning and in the late afternoon instead of being out there in the middle of the day when it does get hot. And so there's plenty to do down at Ulara as well.
Wonderful. Steve, the only thing I could say is it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. And
It
for
is.
those people
It's
who are
stunning.
thinking of going, give yourself 5 to 7 days. Don't do what I did. I rushed 3 days to try and do the whole
Well,
lot.
3 days is about normal because you can get a 3-day pass. It costs $25 for the 3-day pass. Because outside of that, there's not really a lot to see. So you can stay there 5 days and enjoy the
Just saves
enjoy
you
the hotel.
driving a lot, I guess, if you stay an extra couple of days.
Yeah.
Steve, in a couple of weeks, you're coming back. You've got plenty more to talk about in your travel.
I've done 18,838 kilometres, and a lot of that was just the most extraordinary places. We went to some fantastic. We went to the Bungle Bungles.
Yes.
We went to this fantastic lagoon in the Northern Territory. We did the Eyre Peninsula and the York Peninsula in South Australia.
We'll touch on that in a couple of weeks. What's your website if people want more info?
Well, it's my YouTube channel, which is just Tell Me Where to Go on YouTube. And you can go to my website, which doesn't do much anymore, unfortunately.
It's still informative. And you know what they say about Alice Springs, Ayers Rock? If you never go, you'll never know. Please go up there. The Northern Territory is beautiful, and so is Alice Springs. And we're going to talk more about that in a couple of weeks' time. More of Steve's travel stories. Stick around. More of The Couch coming up right after this. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Fred.
And you're on pitch as well. Welcome back to The Couch. Something special on The Couch today. Paul Elwyn, as you know, he's come back to do movies as well, but he is not available. Now, he's very busy doing whatever he is with his family, but today I was lucky enough to be able to score our not so old, but old movie and entertainment guy, Cameron Lynch. Welcome back. It is always a pleasure to have you back in the studio.
A pleasure, an honour and delight to be here, Fred.
Tell everybody very quickly, what's Cameron been doing since he hasn't been doing The Couch?
Show tunes, a brief stint on the West End, all that kind of... I'm kidding, no. I've just been running my beautiful WA Performance School with my lovely partner, and things are peachy and fabulous, and I would be remiss if I didn't say congratulations for keeping the lights on here in my absence. You know, you've gone through a pandemic, inflationary pressures, you've had really good luck, but the fact that I'm back in this seat means your luck has in fact run out. So I apologise for that in advance.
Well, welcome back. Nice to have you back.
Well, we're talking movies.
We've got some great movies. Let's have a look at the first one for you, Dad. What have we got?
Absolutely. So the first cab off the ranks is A Strange Way of Life. And this is a strange film in the fact that it's actually a short film, but it's getting a proper cinematic release. It stars Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, who is a actor du jour at the moment, coming off the back of the Last of Us series and many other big movies. Pedro Almodovar, sorry, I butchered that. This is one of his films, and apparently this is sort of part of the course of what he's doing. He is a Spanish director. This is his second English-speaking film. So it is interesting. It's basically what he considered... He actually was interviewed on Dua Lipa's podcast and described the film as a queer Western. Now, I hate to say it, I'm like, well, why can't it just be a Western? It's a Western with obviously
What's a queer Western?
Well, it's a male and male love story, so he's sort of calling it's a queer Western. But I'm just like, well, isn't just a Western with a love story with two guys? Like, why do we have to? Anyway, but
true,
it does look interesting, and like I'm saying, the character deconstruction in it is really good. And I'm like, I wish it was a feature. Why is this only half an hour, sort of thing? It is getting good reviews from the preliminary scenes. It was aired at Cannes and won an award there as well. But like I said, if you're into obviously Pedro's previous work, Almodovar's not Pascal's. This is something that will be up your alley. But like I said, it is a short film. I'm not sure of the actual theatrical release we're getting here in Australia, but that is out on the 28th of October.
Bring him home to me.
Bring him home to you.
Yeah, bring him home to me.
Bring him. Oh,
I'll bring him to me.
I thought you were singing like a country and western movie.
I stuffed it up.
That's all right. Yeah,
that's nothing new.
This is a weird film. Now, this is an Australian-produced film. It's actually filmed, I think, primarily in Queensland at the top of this year in February. But there's really no information about this film at all. It stars Barry Pepper, Jamie Costa, Liam McIntyre, Rachel Griffith, and Sam Neill. And as far as I know, it's a crime movie. I really looked hard for information about this film. There's not much out there, with the exception that the screenplay was written inspired by the death scene of Nicky Santoro, played by Joe Pesci in the Scorsese film Casino. Now, I'm not going to spoil that for anyone. And also, this is a family show. It's quite a gruesome scene, but I'm like, how to conceptualize something based on one scene in one film? It's an iconic scene, but it's interesting. So the production value is clearly there. You know, it seems like a very amazing cinematic effort, especially considering it was made in Queensland. But story-wise, I'm not sure. And again, this is something that's sort of co-produced with a American production house. We haven't heard anything advertising-wise with it as well. So I'm kind of perplexed on that. It could be good. I don't know.
Interesting.
You'll have to go into theaters 2nd of November to check it out.
Sam Neill, great actor, and I think he's
National
over
treasure.
here at the moment in Perth
Yes.
on the new thing called The 12th.
Oh, okay, yeah,
For
excellent.
Foxtel, which
Yeah.
will be great to see that one. Freelance is coming out as well.
Freelance. So this is an American action comedy film starring John Cena and Alison Brie, as directed by Pierre Morel, who's famous for the Taken films. I really like John Cena. I think that he's kind of at this inflection point where he's kind of just copying what The Rock did as far as like from transitioning from wrestling to acting.
Yep.
But I feel he needs to do something like a Tarantino film and like a dramatic role, because I think he's a really smart guy. He's business savvy. He speaks fluent Mandarin. He's really self-motivated. He's in phenomenal shape for his age. I think he's 47 now at the moment. But this is kind of a by-the-numbers action comedy film. It's not funny enough to be called a funny movie. It's not actiony enough to be pure action. It's kind of just there. It won't be terrible, but it won't be amazing. And I feel that he's kind of wasted in this. Alison Brie's obviously doing this for a paycheck between Marvel films, just being little bit cynical about it. It could be fun. It could be a fun popcorn movie, but I don't know. I feel that talents like these are kind of wasted, but could be an interesting, fun movie for the action fans out there, and you can check that out on the 9th of November.
Now, The Marvels is coming out as
The
well.
Marvels. Speaking of the Marvels, and I just don't have the energy for Marvels anymore.
It's been overdone.
I'm all Marveled
Let's be
out.
honest, it's been
I don't
overdone.
want to have to do homework before I see a film. I'm sorry. And I'm sure these movies do a great job at explaining the backstory. But essentially, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, are coming together on the big screen to share. And there's not much to do. In the film, Danvers, Rambeau, and Kamala team up as they begin swapping places with each other every time they use their powers. And that's it with the extent of the
Something new.
of the preview. Yeah. So I don't know if there is going to be. Obviously, there will be some sort of big baddie.
Do you reckon they
have to
make a
sort of
lot of
feed.
their money just from the franchise itself? The word Marvel.
Yeah,
attracts the-
absolutely. I think so. And like back in the day, if you think back to cast your mind back to 2007 when they had the original Iron Man film, like that was groundbreaking in the superhero genre. But they had a story to tell. Now I think they've got characters that they need to just sort of come up with stories to push those characters out. If it's a good story, and I'm not saying with this specifically, but I'm just saying like after all this like ninth wave Marvel stuff, and if it's a good tale, then that's fine. But I don't know. And again, obviously they're pitching to Marvel fans or superhero fans. They've obviously got a baked in fan base there.
It will
so
do well no matter what we say. But I'm with you.
it kind of gets to the point. It's like who wins is the person who just punches the other guy harder. So, and I'm not going in thinking it's like some sort of amazing intellectual dissertation. But if you like Marvel films, you're going to probably love this. And you can obviously check that out same day as well, the 9th of November.
Thanksgiving is coming up. This is a good one.
Yes.
If you like that type of movie.
Directed and written, conceptualized by Eli Roth, so Slashmaster. Horror film, of course, so little kiddies, cover your eyes now. But basically, it's based on the American tradition of Thanksgiving. After the Black Friday riots end in tragedy, a mysterious serial killer known as John Carver comes to Plymouth, Massachusetts, with the intention of creating Thanksgiving carving board made out of the town's inhabitants. For Australians playing at home, John Carver was one of the head pilgrims who founded the Plymouth colonials off the Mayflower when they arrived in 1620. So this is pitching very much to an American audience, obviously. This was actually conceptualized off the back of the 2007 Grindhouse film. This was like a fake trailer that Eli Roth made.
Oh, really?
And there was like a lot of scuttlebutt online through Reddit and online forums that they were going to make this film. And he said, I wanted to find the right time for obviously the funding and the right story for it. It stars Patrick Dempsey and Alison Ray, who I think maybe are a bit wasted in this role. But it looks like, a kind of by-the-numbers slasher film, but it could be fun depending on sort of how creative you like your slasher films to be and how American-centric you are. Not coming out on Thanksgiving, though. 16th of November is the Australian release
Surprising.
of that. Yes.
And, of course, The Hunger Games, talking about a franchise.
Yes, Hunger Games, the ballads of remakes and, Songbirds and Snakes. So this is the 5th installment of of the...
Yep.
Look, I'm going to level with you here. When they made these movies, they didn't pull down a chart and have my face on and go, we need to make films for this guy. This
Yep.
is for young teenage sort of, or young adult.
That's their market.
Literary type sort of thing, and they love these types of films. This is actually, as far as I know, a prequel to the original ones. Yeah, I mean, not too much can be said. Stars Tom Blythe, Rachel Zegler, and Peter Dinklage. And, you know, people who love the books obviously love this. In the dystopian future, though, everyone has remarkably good skin and
noticed
like
that.
in really good shape as well. Like no combination skin with
No
an early
overweight.
T-zone. You know, yeah, basically, you know. But I don't know. It's like Peter Dinklage is a little person, but his character is called, you know, High Bottom. It's like, is that good writing? I don't know. It's, and Coriolanus Snow, and when he says the snow is falling in the line, I'm like, oh, that's a bit on the nose sort of thing. So
Interesting.
Coriolanus, actually, his name is an anagram for low, I can sour, which is kind of the look on my face when I have to watch shows like this. But again, it's not for me. It's probably for the fans of the genre, and you can check that out
And
also on the 16th of November.
And I reckon the name, they probably could have shortened it and probably achieved a bit more. It's too long.
Very possibly.
Thank you very much. Now, let's have a look at the top 5 movies as they were watched this week around Australia.
Top 5s. We have number 5, The Expendables. Number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Number 3, The Creator. Number 2, Paw Patrol, the mighty movie, finally getting its due. And number 1, The Exorcist Believer.
Thank you very much, Cameron. If I can ask you one question, what's been the best movie you have seen since we haven't seen you?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough
in the last
call.
4 years.
I'm drawing a
caught
blank. I'm really sorry.
Nothing.
that speaks
We'll have to
poorly
check out
either to
Rotten
my memory
Tomatoes.
or the state of cinema as we see it now. So.
What's the name of your school that you
the WA Performance School.
work at? Yeah, thank you very much. Please
Thank
check
you.
them out. Thank you for coming in today.
My
We really
pleasure, as
appreciate it.
always.
Cameron Lynch, always wonderful whenever he's on the couch. We love having him here. We'll have more of the couch, more wonderful coming up after this. Dr. Paula Smith. See you then. Welcome back to this very special segment here on the couch. Thank you for watching all around Australia. This is going to be a bit of fun for you. If you love cars, stay tuned for the next 10 minutes. Nisha has got a very special man. He's a police officer, working police officer. His name is Sergeant Mike Pearson, and he's got a fantastic segment about cars. Over to you, Nisha.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fred. And we all know road safety is a really important topic, and we do have a very special guest today. I'd like to welcome Sergeant Mike Pearson to the couch.
Nisha, hello.
Now, Mike's a very passionate gentleman. He's been with the police for over 40 years now, which is exceptional. Congratulations, you play such an important role in society, and it does come with a lot of challenges as well, doesn't it, being a police officer?
Look, it certainly does. I started as a police cadet back in January 1982.
Wow.
Went through the academy in 1984 and have been in uniform my entire career. I've specialised more so on the traffic side of things, which, you know, it subjects you, or it causes you to see stuff that you don't really want to be going to, sort of thing, but it's a part of our job. A lot of the crashes that I've attended over the years, it's sort of like a little bit of a fire inside of me regarding the road safety side of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the passion then around Beat the Heat. Tell us about Beat the Heat, and then we're also going to talk about an upcoming charity event, Race for a Cause, as well, which is really important. So first, Beat the Heat. What is it?
Okay, so WA Police used to have a drag racing program called the Tango One Police Drag Racing. That ran with the donation of a statesman from Holden back in 1993, I think it was. And it ran until 2005. Now, I took over that program in 2003, got them a new car because the old one was a bit beat up.
And sorry to interrupt you there for a moment, but I do believe you did bring that car in today, and we had a bit of fun in front of the studio.
No, the one that I started with is currently in the Bunbury Geograph Motor Museum.
Oh, okay.
That's
so you got
Tango 1. I've got Tango 2 with me today.
Yeah, and there it is, the new one.
Yeah, so Tango 1, when WA Police closed their program down, I got approached by all of our previous sponsors to say, we still want to play. We see the value in this. We see the value in you guys keep going. So I did a bit of research, spoke with some colleagues interstate, and found out about Beat the Heat being an international program, primarily North American, where there's over 200 Beat the Heat chapters. The Northern Territory back in 2005, early 2005, were the first people to take on the Beat the Heat program. Mid 2005, I took it on, and then I've helped South Australia and Victoria become Beat the Heat chapters. So there are 5, including Queensland. There is now 5 Beat the Heat chapters running underneath that international banner in Australia.
So you mentioned that road safety is at the forefront of Beat the Heat. How do you integrate that into Beat the Heat?
I mean, we're probably one of the most motorised countries in the world. You know, we've got big distances to travel, and there is definitely a love affair in Australia with cars. I've seen it time and time again through my role as a police officer, where sometimes the red mist might drift across them, and they might go a little bit too quick, and I'm sitting at the other end pointing something at them, and I'm going to take some money off them. I said, when I moved to the road safety section, it was all about the educational side of things, and seeing what I see, or what I have seen through my career, I'm figuring there's got to be an environment we can do this safely, and places like the Perth Motorplex are that environment. It's all about having some fun with your car, but doing it in a safe, controlled environment. And I always say to the kids, what's worse? Having me sitting next to you here, or me sitting behind you out there?
Yes, that's a very good point, isn't it, as a police officer?
Here, all you're going to lose is bragging rights. Out there, at the very least, you're going to lose some money or your car. At the very worst, your life or somebody else's.
Yeah, and as you said, we do love cars here in Australia, and many of us have seen cars dragging, haven't we? And I think that passion doesn't go away just through slapping someone on the wrist. And is that a little bit about actually providing the forum for this to be done safely?
Very much so. I mean, like the one thing that I have said to people when they say, oh, there was a drag race up my road last night. There wasn't. There was an illegal street race up your road, because a drag race is in a controlled environment. Okay, so
good
and that's the thing, and it is, because it is a very emotive term, a drag race.
Yes,
like they're dragging up now. No, they're speeding up and down your road, sort of thing. What we're doing is we're combining the sport of drag racing with the passion of doing it in a safe, controlled environments, and we use that as a medium where. Some of our kids get the chance to talk to an off-duty police officer like myself about their cars, about that. Yep. And generally, other things will drift into the conversation as well.
Yeah.
So
that's excellent. So tell us a bit about the event coming up, because I know that's a big passionate point for you as well.
Yep. Okay, so just recently, Australia had a visit by the Street Outlaw TV program people, and they've done 4 events. Andy and I come up with the thought of, during that there, seeing how approachable they were to having a community challenge. So they pay for us to go racing, and we do this best of 5. Well, Street Laws didn't want to have a bar of it, so Andy and I had a bit of a chat and thought, no, we're going to do this in our own right. So we approached the Motorplex, and they were stoked. So basically what we're doing, Andy has got a beautiful black Mercedes. It's a little bit quicker than Tango 2, the car I've got out the front here. Yeah, but our class of racing is a dial-in class racing. I reckon, I'm seeing it going. It's the best of 5.
Looks pretty good.
I reckon it's going to be 2-2 going into the final race, and then it'll be all bets are off. We're going to try and kick her butt.
Do you know what? I think you said to me earlier as we were walking in, when you get that helmet on, the competitiveness comes on, and that's the excitement you see at the speedways and stuff and the races, right?
Yeah, and for us, like this is like we love what Andy's doing. Her charity being Breast Care WA, and she is a survivor of breast cancer, and she's just you wouldn't meet a more lovely lady, and she's a bloody good racer. She really is a bloody good racer.
Tell us about some of the races, because you've got quite a diverse team, don't you?
We've got lots of teams. My team alone, I promote ourselves not as a police drag team, but we're a community-based drag team, because I've got half police officers and half community members. I've got an accountant. I've got a retired principal. I've got a project manager. I've got a mental health care worker.
See, they all want to unleash their energy.
And all of these people have been touched by road safety.
Yes.
Okay, so they've lost somebody or something like that. They have a bit of a passion for what we do. And that's the whole point of it. Not all of them are drivers. most of all of the officers are drivers, and we've got a couple of the non-police officers will always also get into the car and have a bit of a pedal as well. So,
Yeah, fantastic. So it jumps across occupations, if you like, and I'm hearing it's for purpose and passion,
Yep.
but it's also, I guess, you learn a lot about driving, I would imagine. Even if you're not driving, you're learning.
I think the big message here is a safe and controlled environment. Okay, that is the big message, and that's what we've always pushed. And the charity challenge for us is we love our sport, we love our venue, and I love what I do with Beat the Heat. Andy does such a great job with Breast Care WA. So she's racing for Breast Care WA, and I'm actually racing for Careflight, who do a fair bit in the communities, and we want them, that they're going to be the recipient of whatever we win. It's best of 5 races with the winning team getting 60% of the pot. So as it currently stands now, we've got
Wow, look at that.
just about $5,000 in the pot. So if it wasn't to grow, and I'm really hoping, guys, it grows.
Yep.
If it wasn't to grow, the winners team will get a $3,000 cheque, and the losers team will get a $2,000 cheque for their charities.
Oh, look,
So, yeah.
what a great cause and excellent. So in terms of the future, just quickly, what are you hoping for in the next year or two?
We want to keep pushing Beat the Heat. We want to do more regional stuff. We do a fair bit. The long weekend, I had 3 events on the one day. I was in Dongra with Tango 4, Tango 3 was in Albany for an event, and Tango 2 was on display at the Motorplex. So we're getting out. We want to educate as many people as we can. We want to get them interested in what we do and why we do it, and more importantly, where we do it.
That's wonderful. So we're looking forward to being trackside, and so it's October the 28th at the Perth Motorplex.
Yep, it's the grand opening to the WA drag racing season. Best of 5 races, our white Pontiac GTO versus Andy's Black Merc.
Wow, and what will the atmosphere be like, in a few words?
There's going to be a fair bit of sledging going on between the 2 teams. So, yeah.
And I can tell you, when we heard that car start the engine, a few people jumped out of their pants. So I think that's going to be very exciting. And of course, it's not possible without your sponsors too, right?
100%.
Yep.
Perth Motorplex, Holden, All Fast Torque Converters sponsor both cars, Active Automotives, I've got Custom Mechanics, I've got a Sea Containers WA or Total Containers,
Yeah.
AmCap Distribution, AC Delco, a major sponsor. So, yeah, and these people give generously, and they have been with me, these people, well over a decade. The same sponsors. They want nothing in return. They just believe in the message that we're putting out there. So, God love them. Mwah.
Well, Mike, that's a strong indication that you're doing great work. So
Thank you.
keep it up. Look forward to attending. I'm going to come and visit and ride in one of those cars. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But of course, that information, if you're looking to attend, you can of course go to a couple of different websites here. You can go to www.beattheheatwa.org.au or therapyonwheels.asn.au as well. But thank you so much, Dr. Mike Pearson, joining us on the couch. Great work, and we'll look forward to hearing more from you perhaps next year on the couch.
Thanks, Nasha. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, if you've missed any of that, you can go to our couch website. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
And I love the fact you've promoted him to doctor. Sergeant. Sergeant Mike, because she's so used to being a doctor herself, of course.
Did I say
she
doctor?
Yeah, I'm a doctor of life, Fred.
But Michael, she never calls me Dr. Fred.
Dr. Fred's got a ring to it.
I think
reckon
so
that-
highly of police officers and what you do
You
for
do
our
now,
community.
yes.
So, yeah, Doctor, Sergeant, all important.
Thank you very much, guys.
Mike, just a quick question. If people want to become members of Beat the Heat, how do they do that?
Okay, so we do have a CAP membership.
Yep.
We encourage people to come and have a talk to us. We'll get them down to have a bit of a look-see. They have to understand the commitment that they will be putting their hand up. It's not about driving the car fast.
Correct.
It's about the message. We spend a lot of time sitting there. And when you consider a drag race in that car there, if that car is on song from the start to the finish, will take 9.8 seconds. So
Wow.
you will spend hours upon hours standing next to it, talking to people. 9.8 seconds sitting in it, making a lot of noise.
There you go. So contact Beat the Heat. If you want more information, Nisha, you won't be able to do it. She just wants to drive the car. That's all she wants.
Passenger seat, maybe.
Good on you. Mike, keep us informed.
I'll take it.
Come back on the couch again. We'd love to have Beat the Heat involved with the couch in the new year as well.
I would love to. Thank you very much, Fred.
Good on
Thanks,
you.
Nisha.
That is, of course, Sergeant Mike Pearson, of course, Beat the Heat and Therapy on Wheels as well. They do great work in the community. So does Mars Garage. They've got a brand new song. It's called I Need You. They're 5 brothers, the Minatulo brothers. Here they are performing centre stage.
to meet and smile. Ever since I wandered like a lost and lonely child, I pray you love me. Pray you care. Say you need me. I'll be there. I'll be there. Need you like a river needs the rain. Need you. Without your love, I'll go insane. I need you. Oh, help me ease this pain. I need you. Honey, I need you. Honey, I need you. Honey, I need you. Honey, I need you. Here I am, a beggar with no pride, no more defenses, nowhere to run and hide. All I need is for you to take my hand, lead my heart to the promised land. I pray you love me. Pray you care. Say you need me. I'll be there. I'll be there. Need you like the river needs the rain. Need you. Without your love, I'll go insane. I need you. Oh, help me ease this pain. I need you. Honey, I need you. Honey, I need you. Honey, I need you. No, 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 need you. 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 I need you.
Thank you very much to Mars Garage. Catch them again next year on the couch, or check out their website. Of course, they haven't got one yet, but if you do need to contact them, you want them to perform at your wedding or your parties, contact us here at The Couch at thecouch.com.au. We'll take a break. More of The Couch coming up. There it is on screen right now, our website. More coming up after this.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Come chill on the couch with us.
Welcome back to The Couch. Always nice to have your company. It's time for us to talk expert communication, especially when you're in foreign land. And with us today is Dr. Paula Smith, and with her is our very own Dr. Nisha Seth. Over to you.
Thank you, Fred. Well, I'm not a doctor, I'm a psychologist, but thank you so much. Buongiorno. Can you guess where our very special guest has come from? Where have you been?
I have been to Italy. Well done. And buongiorno to you too. Although it was afternoon now, but that's all good.
Merci beaucoup. Oh, that's French.
I was going, what?
So you've been all around Italy. How was the trip?
Yeah, had a fabulous time, but it's nice to be back, and I hope you missed me.
We did. We definitely
That's
did.
good.
Yeah, because I'm so used to seeing you every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, glad to be back. And I had some great observations while I was away, especially when it comes to communication, because obviously, you know, even though it's holiday, I was sort of, you know, you do have a bit of an interest in your area or your industry of work. So looking at the way people communicated, especially the tourists with the locals, was very interesting.
Yeah. So as a communications expert, I bet you were looking, obviously observing, but also the verbal. So talk to us about some of the insights you got from your time.
Yeah, well, I'll start with a very famous quote by George Bernard Shaw that says, the biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it's taken place. So, and we sometimes struggle with communication in our own land, in our own cultures as well. So you imagine when we're overseas and not everybody's speaking our language, how difficult it can be sometimes to get what we want and to communicate with others. So I wanted to talk a few things today, but I wanted to start off with number one is don't expect everybody to speak English when you go overseas.
Okay. I can't believe people do that, but I bet they do at the same time.
Yeah, and you'd be sitting there at a restaurant and somebody would come in and speak English, and they would say good morning or hello in English, and they're in Italy. So I guess it's just learning just very simple words, at least learn hello and maybe thank you. 2 simple words, and the locals will just love you that little bit more. It's just about respecting the culture that you're going to, and especially in the tourist areas, lots of people do speak English, but once you get out into the countryside a bit, there's a lot of people don't speak English, so make an effort. You're in a different country, make an effort just to learn some of the basic language.
Is it true that it's best to immerse yourself to learn a language as well? So it's a good opportunity?
Look, it is a good opportunity as well. And obviously you're not going to be fluent in the language. Even if you're learning that language at school, it's very different when you actually are in that country. But you'll certainly learn the language much quicker. And but it doesn't matter where you go. If you make the effort, they appreciate it more as well. When you just go in there and speak your own language, obviously they're very polite and respectful. You're their client. And but, yeah, make an effort. Number 2, and also respect their culture and their traditions. I couldn't believe how many tourists I got were trying to order English dishes in Italian restaurants, or there was people jumping on religious monuments to take selfies, and just that disrespect, and hearing people complaining that their coffee isn't how they have it at home. So immerse yourself in that culture rather than trying to sort of emulate what you get at home.
That's really important because holidays go quick too, don't they?
Yes.
So before you know it,
Yeah.
wonderful. And I bet, being an expert communicator yourself, that you did all of these things.
Oh, absolutely. And just the basic language, doesn't matter where we go. But the other thing that I love to do is definitely do my homework before I go, because we don't just use verbal, we use non-verbal as well. And a smile is like a universal language. But some other things that we do here in Australia are not very welcomed overseas. So, for instance, if somebody says, how's that? And we go, yes, that's excellent. A thumbs up in some countries does not mean all good. And eye contact, for instance, we're taught to look at people deeply in the eye, and that's a bit respectful. But in some countries, of course, when you look deeply into somebody's eyes, it could mean a little bit of disrespect. So in Japan, for instance, the kids are taught to look at the neck area instead of in the eye area. So there's lots of things that we can learn about other cultures, and just make that little bit of effort before you go, and it just shows a bit of respect.
Such an important insight. I mean, really, when you think that one moment can change your whole experience with that person, or even the visit to the whole location, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What about, and it's a bit of a cheeky question, but in Italy as well, because I've been, and one of the things my older brother said to me was be very careful to have a big smile and look deeply into someone's eyes. And I said, why? He said, well, that's very encouraging, was his very professional way of saying that. I don't know, do we have kind of concoctions of a few things together, like what we do with our expressions and what we say that can be taken a different way?
Well, I think language isn't just verbal, and it's not non-verbal. It is about the whole package. Yes. So if I was looking deeply into your eyes, smiling, which would be very different to me looking deeply in your eyes, smiling and leaning forward.
Yes. That would would be the added allure.
And I don't think that's just in Italy. That's everywhere.
Yeah,
So just do your homework, and even something simple. I think in Germany we count here, using our little finger first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In Germany, it's the opposite. So if you're in Germany and somebody asks you how many drinks would you like or how many beers would you like, and you say, oh, just one, they will bring you 2. Because that is their second finger. So even if the thumb is hidden, it's just
interesting.
So just little things like that. Then all of a sudden you've got 2 drinks, which maybe not a problem for some. So, but then it could, of course, save a few arguments as well,
and a few dollars as well, from the sounds of it over there. So returning to Australia,
yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you've brought back with you, because I'm sure you had some really fun experiences while you were over there.
Yes, I did always have fun, and I took my husband, as well. So, and it was our wedding anniversary over there as well. So we spent our wedding anniversary on the Amalfi Coast, but I think when you go away, it's a time to pause your own life. It's a time for reflection. It's a time just to pause and really think about what's important. So I think when anyone comes back for an extended holiday, they come back maybe a little bit inspired, and which of course I did. So I mean, I love what I do anyway, but I hit the ground running when I got back with the appreciation of the life that we have here in Australia.
Fantastic. And you're a very accomplished author, and I'm sure you've got lots and lots of clients you're finishing things off for the end of the year. What's in your plans for the next sort of 3 to 6 months?
Well, it's a bit of a race to the end of the year. So November's pretty busy. So this week, for instance, working with a large organisation, teaching their key people how to present well. And I'm also delivering my premier speaking program, which is called Neuropresenting, which is
fantastic.
Presenting.
I saw that.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, presenting with the brain in mind. So I do that a couple of times here in Perth. And hopefully in New Zealand in a few months as well. I'll be going to deliver that 3-day Neuropresenting in New Zealand as well. But there's conferences coming up, there's trainings, there's lots of stuff happening in my personal life. My son's getting married soon as well.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a lot of organising for you.
No, they're very organised. I'm just an observer, which is great. I'm here to support, but so lots going on. And but like I said, if you go on holidays, I think we come back to Australia in this beautiful country, and we appreciate all that it's got to offer.
Yeah, that's great. Gratitude's so important for our mental well-being, right?
Yes.
It's always such a pleasure, Paula, to have you on the couch. That course sounds amazing. Where can people find out about that and everything else that you do?
I just go straight to my website. All of my courses and all the information is there, and of course my phone number, and of course all my email addresses, so you can just pick up the phone and speak to me direct, and that is on paulasmith.com.au.
Fantastic. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon, Paula. And all the best with the course. I'll definitely look into it as well.
Yeah, terrific. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Fantastic. If you missed any of that, you can go to thecouch.com.au, of course. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Grazie Paola, grazie Nisha, benvenuto and ciao. That is it. We're going to go to a break actually, not ciao for the show.
Ciao!
After the break we have the bitchin'. See you then. Bye-bye.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Time for bitchin'. Welcome to the show. Let me introduce our bitches for today. We've got Michaela Carr from 96 FM Perth, Steve Collins from tellmewheretogo.com, and of course Sharon Atwood, of course, from Brand Etiquette. Welcome back. And soon, hopefully, for the City of Swan as well. Michaela, thank you to everyone for coming in today. Michaela, can I just say congratulations to you very quickly. We've got a lovely photo that someone snuck in. Can we just see it on screen? And we just want to wish you all the best for your future and you and your partner, of course.
Thank you.
When did this happen? You didn't tell us anything?
A week ago. It was a big secret. It's a very hard one to keep.
Someone
now
asked
it's
me
out.
if it was in Bali, and I said no.
It was in Bali.
It was in Bali.
It
Our
wasn't
director's
just a
correct.
rumour. Absolutely it was. It was beautiful.
Well,
Did you know
done.
the guy that was standing next to you at all? Have you met him
Yeah,
before?
I asked him to marry me and he agreed.
Oh, okay. That's the way to do it. You've got to be
Well, they say
proactive.
when in
Absolutely
Bali,
assertive is what I call
whatever
it.
happens in Bali stays in Bali. Well, congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
And congratulations to both of you. Now, what are you talking about today? You're talking about these horrible, the keyboard warriors.
Well, actually,
Gutless
it's
wonders.
about Bali. So there is a Facebook group that is information for people who are going to Bali, travelling to Bali. So you can post a question to the chat, and I think there's about 23,000 members, so it's quite big. But when people put a question down there, they are held down by many members of this group saying, well, that's already been asked and all you have to do is, put in a word into the thread and lots of different answers will come up. If I'm on a Facebook chat group, I want a quick fire answer.
Correct.
And I want an answer that's
Otherwise,
up to
you wouldn't
date.
go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I did when I came back from Bali was leave that group because it's toxic. And some of the way that the people were shouting down people who asked the most simple of answers and serious questions like visas and illnesses and the like, why not just, rather than take the time to whinge and complain about people not doing their research or Googling or whatever, people have come to what they think is a friendly site, they get shouted down, they don't get the information, use the information, not the angst.
Well, what's the telling sign here? What's happening? Because you're a bit of a communication expert, of course, in your role. What do you reckon's happening in society? Because the people behind those websites would be probably 20 to 30-year-olds.
Or less.
Or less. Yeah. What's happening with young generations?
Because they think they've got opinions that are worth having. And the other thing is, I think that people over the years have become less pleasant, more angry and more combative. I mean, I can remember when Australians were basically pretty laid-back people.
Yeah.
We'd be polite. There's no tolerance at all.
No, I think they're in general a lot older than that.
Yep.
I think that the people who are behaving that
you
way...
reckon they're older and they're still nasty and rude?
I think they are. I mean, Facebook now is the realm of more around the 50s.
Is it?
The younger ones have left for other platforms.
Right.
They're on, Snapchat and they're on, on other platforms.
TikTok and all that
and
type
TikTok
of thing,
and I think they've kind of maybe left Facebook to some of the angry older ones.
I tend to agree with you too, Steve, in the sense that, I think people are rude. I think people are getting nasty. They don't have any tolerance. And I think the patience is not there. But also, I agree with Steve that these people know everything. They don't expect anybody to be asking for help. And why would you be on there if you didn't? And that goes with all these chat devices. Every company's throwing us chat online. It's quicker if you chat. But try getting through to someone. And when you do, it's pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
But if you think Facebook's bad, go on Reddit.
We're
That's
all
worse.
busy people. We want instant gratification
Quick
if we can get
answer.
it.
Yeah.
So what did you do? How did you overcome it apart from leaving?
I left the group.
Did you get the help you
But
needed?
I was very dismayed. But I did think seriously about doing a post myself and actually outing some of these people
I
and
think
saying,
it's a great
please
idea.
be pleasant to people. It is so much easier to be kind.
Did you actually get an answer to your query?
Yeah, I was not derailed by some people by into the questions that I asked. But being a journo, I probably did my research before I did anyway. But in most cases, people asking for simple answers just got howled down, which I thought was really sad.
Yeah.
The world we live in, everything online, and that's the horrible thing. I think people are losing out on the personal touch, the human touch. And I guess it's because they don't see a lot of humans anymore. Everything, people work from home, answering calls. People do everything on computer. We're talking to computers. Companies are avoiding us.
You go shopping, you go to your own self-checkout.
Yeah,
How
correct.
ridiculous is that?
We're losing the human touch. That could be a whole discussion for another show, I think.
Yeah,
but I hope you got your answer to your question. And if not, make it up, I reckon. Steve Collins, what are you talking about today? I believe Qantas is putting up their prices.
Yeah, Qantas and a lot of other airlines because of the problems in the Middle East at the moment. Now, the problems in the Middle East are between Israel and Palestine. I don't have an opinion on who's right and wrong, but neither of them are oil-producing companies. So how come that is having an effect on oil prices? And the other thing is, I mean, I've had to go at Qantas because they're basically become a corrupt organisation over the last few years. But my wife, the other day, she was looking for fuel. She saw a fuel, she uses ULP, was $1.74 one day. The next day it was $2.04. How does it rise 30 cents in one day, when there's this minor skirmish?
Gouging.
Yes, of course it is. But surely we should have some sort of regulation about that. I could understand if, say, Iran and Saudi Arabia are at war together. Well, that's going to affect oil prices, isn't it? But Palestine and Israel, where they don't produce
and
fuel.
Ukraine as well. I mean, the ridiculous assertions that everything goes up because of the Ukraine war, and now Palestine and Israel. I tend to agree with you. I find it's funny because when I used to work in a petrol station, we'd order the fuel, it would arrive, you'd write a check, and that would pay for it. So that petrol would last you maybe a week or two. So you've paid for it, say, back then it was 32 cents a litre, for argument's sake. why would you have to put it up if you haven't sold any of that fuel? The
Exactly.
price
The
you got
same.
it at was
Exactly.
cheap. And I reckon, to your answer, Steve, why isn't there regulation on
There
this?
should be regulations on
Because
fuel
governments make
prices.
more money every time they put the price up. They get more tax,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
Well,
It's
that's what
all
it is.
about-
There's 22 cents in the litre, or 22% in the litre exercise tax, which is a excise tax, not
Yeah.
exercise. The tax
We'd be
is
broke.
probably very fit though at the moment.
Do you know the airlines are just looking for excuses to remove services, remove customer service, expect people to expect less,
Yeah.
but put up all their prices?
Yeah.
And I think it's ridiculous.
Or make products smaller and charge the same amount.
yep.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
All that palaver about Qantas not letting Qatar Airways have more
Yeah.
flights into Australia. Who was the airline that repatriated
Yeah,
Australians
that was my
from
argument.
From
Yeah.
Israel? It was
I
Qatar.
copped so many people on 6PR bagging Qantas out, and then I said, well, who was the one that saved people's bacon?
Exactly.
Qantas, the Australian airline, which isn't even government owned anymore. So I think people need to pull their head in sometimes. Qantas does a great job given the circumstances they have to work within. They have to pay their staff Australian dollars, not Indonesian or Malaysian. The money here is a completely different system. Our health and safety is different. Our health regulations are different. And I think if we expect Qantas to survive, we have to also cut them some slack.
Except that what Qantas did was
Yep.
they turned a lot of their money into
Profit.
They bought their
profit,
shares
yeah.
back at a much greater price.
they
It
made
wasn't
money.
spent on new aircraft.
Yep.
It wasn't spent on technical issues. It was spent on going into the pockets of shareholders.
Sharon, what do you reckon? You're sitting quietly there.
I just think, well, you know, listening and paying attention. It is one of those things, though, where you see any time a company can take advantage of some kind of global situation or some circumstance, they do. And whether
Yep.
that's to affect the price of fuel, affect the price of,
Yep.
you know, of airfares, if there's some slight justification for it, they seem to take
I
it.
agree.
And we're left questioning it.
Supermarkets are doing it as well. Blueberries one day at $12, next it's $8. Now all of a sudden they can't give them away at $5 because they've made their gouging, and nothing's changed.
No.
And all of a sudden they're trying to sell, and they say no one's buying them anymore. Let's drop the price to $5.
And they were still sitting there at the higher price. So, yeah.
I would like to see airlines but introduce meals again. I'd like to also get rid of this ridiculous cost on extra luggage, and maybe that can restore a little bit of the trust people used to have. You pay for everything now, whether it's a seat, the luggage, or the food, or even a glass of water now it's hard to even get. So I'd like to maybe see that on airlines before they put up the fuel excise as
Bring
well.
a bit back.
Sharon, what's on your mind?
On my mind, there's a teacher. I mean, this story it comes up all the time, but a particular one with a teacher in the US who was basically put on a couple of weeks' leave when the school discovered she had an OnlyFans account. She's ended up resigning and coming out saying, well, she didn't care. She'd earned $1.5 million so far this year. But I think it brings up again where, and I'm on the record of saying, like with footballers, we expect them to uphold a certain standard. They're paid to be admired or perhaps known outside of the realm of football. But with our nurses, teachers, we're not paying them 24/7. Should we uphold that sort of requirement that they can't do something like OnlyFans outside of work? It doesn't affect their work. So is it fair where we've seen them have to leave the profession because they're supplementing their income through platforms like OnlyFans? And I don't think it's a fair standard.
Well, Fred, you've got an account, haven't you?
Not an OnlyFans. That's a different type of account. Are you one of my customers? No, but
Maybe that's how I know.
Tash, is it? The lady that's the vegan.
Tash Peterson, yeah.
She does a lot of things without her clothes on, right?
Yeah.
And I was brought to the attention of this, and basically she makes so much money out of that.
Yeah.
And it's called an OnlyFans. So obviously
Well, she
you have
needs
to
all
have-
that money to buy the pig's blood so that she can splatter all over
I don't know
herself
what it
when
is,
she
but
goes and practice.
OnlyFans usually relate to people on the internet, obviously. But is it a way of making money on the side from people who really like you? But I thought that's what Instagram was all about. Social, like
That's
Facebook.
what
It is, but
OnlyFans really started as a way to monetize people who were on Instagram. So it wasn't just...
It's sucking
it's
you in,
really,
though.
at the moment, everyone's assumption is it's about pornography and that's where the big dollars seem to be. But it really started as a way that you could get your followers and subscribers to pay for premium content.
But could you see a teacher, like you're talking about a teacher going on OnlyFans. Now, what was she doing on there?
Pornography.
Yeah, and I can
So
understand
she's
why
on the record as saying, that's what she was doing.
Yeah, but I
so-
can understand why the image wouldn't be what the government or the school would want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a teacher, you have to be above all of that. But I can understand if they're not paying her enough. But pornography for women these days, I just don't understand. There should be no need for anyone to have to do that sort of thing where you can sell your body. I mean, clearly, if they paid me by the kilo, I'd be a billionaire. Would any of you ever do OnlyFans?
I don't think they're paying anybody by the kilo, to be honest with you, because a lot of them probably don't have too many kilos on them. That's why they're successful.
Oh, there's a platform for everybody.
Would you ever do OnlyFans?
I don't know the kind of content.
Pornography?
I don't think there's a market for what I'd have to offer, but you know.
Steve,
I think it was me. Mine would go reverse. People would be paid me to put my clothes back on.
And what about you, Michaela? You've been around this industry
I don't think it would be OnlyFans. It would be only spam.
Can I say thank you very much to Michaela Carr, Perth 96 FM. Listen to them. She's there all during the week. Correct. Different time spots. Sometimes you read the news as well. Thank you for coming in today, Michaela Carr, newlywed. Steve Collins, of course, tellmewhereto.com. Fantastic travel
Long time wed.
Yes, long time married and wants to stay that way. And, of course, Sharon Atwood, thank you from Brand Etiquette.
Thank you very much.
She can make everything look good on the internet or sell your products as well. If you need help, get in touch with her. Thank you very much. That is it for the couch today. I hear the music in the background. Now, before we go, we're going to have a chat to the two brothers, of course, as we know them as Fox India. Let me ask a couple of questions. Tell me about your new album, your new single, in fact, that's coming out, please, Indy.
So, Fred, we got one on the way. It's going to be called Little B. It's going to be releasing November 17th. It's about young love and all the challenges involved. I wrote it probably about 2 years ago now, so it's been on the shelf. We recorded it at home. It took us about 1 or 2 months to get the hang of it, but yeah, it's coming out.
Good on you, Young Love. We know nothing about that on the Bitchin' team, not Young Love anyway. But tell me about how we can get more information, because I can see all those young lovers out there wanting to get a hold of you. How do we do it?
This song will be releasing on Spotify and other streaming platforms, and you can find us at Fox India Music on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
Wonderful, wonderful team you are. Fox India, thank you for being here today. Look forward to hearing you perform at the end of the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, Fred. It's always a pleasure to be down here. This is our final song for the show. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you very much. And it is the final show. Thank you. Not final show, final song for the show. We'll be here for another 3 weeks. In fact, thank you to all the crew. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you to you at home. And thank you for the Education Department giving us a couple of more months here in our wonderful studio. We'll leave today with a great song by Fox India. It is You and Me song. Here it is. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Always will we fight. I kiss you once or twice till everything's forgotten. I know you hate that. Ba ba la la ba 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 la la ba 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 ba. Always will we fight. I kiss you once or twice till everything's forgotten. I know you hate that. I love you someday, son. Week's not yet begun till everything is quiet. And it's always you and me, always and forever. You and me, always and forever. Ba 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 ba. It was always you and me, always. You tell me I'm unreal and try to look impressed. Not very convincing, but you know I love it. And I know we watch TV till we fall asleep. Not very exciting, but it's you and me, and we'll always be together. You and me, always and forever. Ba 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 ba. It was always you and me, always and forever.